People are dropping like flies around me. A lot of gamblers, like you last week. Yeah, I hear you. They had a rough go at it, and at the end of the day, that's what makes it so exciting. I mean, I think that our advice last week reigned true.
And welcome to Pocket Protection in association with TDR, brought to you by Bet99 Sportsbook. Every game starts at Bet99.com. We are responsible gambling. I'm Ryan Doyle. That is Steve Budin. We have finally made it, sir. Although I can't feel good about last. We'll get into that in just a second. We have finally made it to the conference championship games. One more trip before the Super Bowl. How are you? How you feeling? You holding up okay?
Yeah, feeling good. I mean, people are dropping like flies around me. A lot of gamblers, like you last week. Yeah, I hear you. They had a rough go at it, and at the end of the day, that's what makes it so exciting. I mean, I think that our advice last week reigned true, and that was not about betting these games, but about not blowing your bankroll and blowing all the money that you took all season long making on 1 week, because it's the playoffs. It's just another week and just another game, and you shouldn't be betting these games with any more bankroll than you bet your normal games during the season.
Yeah, I think the biggest question after last week is how much will Steve let me borrow from his bankroll, because mine might be gone. Let's start. We're going to start with the NFC, and then, of course, later on down the road, we'll talk about the AFC and what that picture looks like on the next show as we build towards conference championship weekend. But what really happened here? So we had a Giants-Eagles clash, and then the Cowboys and 49ers. We know the end results, but how did you see those two games shaken down?
Let's take the Eagles-Giants first. I mean, the Eagles routed the Giants 38-7. You were actually right about that game. I was wrong. I mean, for Philly, look, Hurts and the Eagles are back. And I say back because, I mean, quite frankly, like Elvis, the Eagles had left the building over the last month. I mean, when Hurts went down with the shoulder injury, Philly plateaued. Worse, they regressed, and they limped into the postseason. But on Saturday night against a Giants team that was fresh off an impressive win that I was right to pick against Minnesota, the Eagles started soaring again. So they're back in peak form. For Big Blue, look, they need more help than I thought. I mean, look, this year was a success for the New York Giants. The G-men, they weren't even supposed to make the playoffs, right? But they're going to need now to prioritize some upgrades along the offensive line, out wide, and at linebacker too, if they want to return to the playoffs with a shot to actually win next year. And that's how I see these two teams in this game.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Cowboys and the Niners. It wasn't exactly a classic. It was a bit of a sleeper, a bit of a weird kind of game. They've got that kicker still missing kicks, and the Niners, I guess, just kind of held on, and it worked.
Yeah, they edged the Cowboys. I mean, the 49ers, they're going to need their defense to carry them. That's no mistake. That's no secret right now. Everybody knows it. You know it. I know it. Brock Purdy did his best. Brock Purdy, I mean, he didn't turn the ball over, right? That's what he does best. And it was the Niners' stingy defense that's going to need to be the catalyst on the road now this week. It's going to be up to their front seven to bottle up Jalen Hurts and get the W. The Cowboys, to me, Prescott and McCarthy, they're not built for the big stage. You know what I mean? They remind me of like these old 70 bands. Just put them in half houses. The Dallas head coach, he's now overseen 2 straight 12-5 teams that have all failed to advance past the divisional round. The man is soft. And after going one and done against San Francisco in 2021, he got even softer and more conservative at key spots on Sunday. The late field goal rather than a fourth down try trailing by 7 and punting it away with minutes left in the game. I mean, you think Bill Parcells would have done that? Absolutely not.
Jimmy Johnson, no chance.
Not a chance. None of the great ones. They want to win the game. They don't play to tie. Prescott, meanwhile, after 7 years now, he's 2-4 in the playoffs. I say get rid of them both.
Okay, so there was my question. I was going to put you in charge of the Dallas Cowboys. I figured you'd get your hat out at some point. Now you're running the team.
Yeah.
You'd get rid of both of them, though, because I was going to ask you, would you get rid of Mike McCarthy? Would you get rid of Dak Prescott? Your answer is both.
I get rid of them both. And listen, Jerry Jones, he's chomping at the bid right now. It's not about money to him. He's got plenty of money. He really wants to win. And over the years, that's made him a little bit trigger happy. I think he's given these guys a chance here, and I think they've blown it. I think get rid of them and keep the rest, and you'll do your best.
You start Cooper Rush, or you go looking in the market to try to find a good quarterback for that team, or is Cooper Rush your guy?
I would have put Cooper Rush in the second half. I wouldn't have waited. I wouldn't have waited till next year. Like, what are we waiting for? It's the same old Dak Prescott. Every time he plays a great team, he's hiding in the locker room. You know what I mean? So I would have put Cooper Rush in, depending on who I can get. You know what I mean? I wouldn't discount Cooper Rush, and I would certainly give him a shot if I can't get someone who's considerably better.
All right, let's take a look at the matchup
Especially
itself.
if the 49ers win, right? Because that proves that you can win this game with a supporting cast and a quarterback that doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, that's very true. And Brock Purdy does not do that. So let's talk about the game he's involved in this coming weekend, the NFC Conference game, the championship. Philadelphia -3 versus San Francisco. We're going to hold off on the side for just a second. Let's look at the total first. We'll tease you just a little. We'll come a few minutes from now. We'll give you our pick on the side. The number here, though, Steve, is 46 points. A rather low total for a conference showdown. But you've got the Niners with that stingy defense, and you can see why the number is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the Niners have the best defense in the league, but I think the reason why this number's low and worth an underplay is because both of these teams feature the run. These are two running teams, and you look at them and you say, well, no, Philly's a high-octane. They're not. They're not at their current state right now. They're a run-first team. So I think both of these teams feature the run. I like the under in this game.
I also like the under, maybe not for the same reason, but I think that you look at the offensive line of Philly, I think they're very dominant. I heard a stat the other day. Lane Johnson, the right, I think he's the right tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles, has not allowed a sack in 2 years. In 2 years, Steve Budin. Can you believe that? 2 years this guy has been protecting quarterback after quarterback. Hurts is back there, and the sacks aren't coming from this guy.
No, and they're going to need that protection, right? Because Hurt cannot get hurt again, or they're going to be in trouble.
They will. And I also like the center. I think the center for the Eagles is actually one of the best players of all time at that position. That to be said, it kind of falls into Steve's narrative. I think the Eagles are going to rely on that offensive line quite a bit. You're going to see a battle in the trenches. And folks, what does a battle in the trenches equal? Usually equals a lower total game, a lower scoring game. You're going to get some field goals back and forth. I think the Eagles, we'll tell you what I think about the Eagles a little later on. But I think that you're going to have at least a low scoring game from the Birds at home. Weather may play a factor too. So I like the under here at 46.
We're on the same side.
What am I, stupid? I'm not going to go against you the entire show. All right. We will come back. We will tell you about our side bet on this. Is it Philadelphia? Is it San Francisco? Who do we like on the money line? Who do we like when it comes to the spread? We will do all of that as Pocket Protection continues after this.
As a world champion, when I walked out of the tunnel, I knew I prepared to win. I still do today. Every game starts at Bet99.net.
Welcome to Bet99.net, Canada's home for all your favorite free-to-play casino games, slots, live dealer tables, and progressive jackpots, including Mega Moolah. At Bet99.net, you could be a winner today.
And welcome back to Pocket Protection in association with TDR, brought to you by Bet99 Sportsbook. Every game starts at Bet99.com. We are responsible gambling. We are breaking down the NFC Conference showdown between the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. We've already tackled the total. Now let's get into the meat. That's the gravy. Here's the meat. Philadelphia -3 versus those San Francisco 49ers. The game is in Philadelphia. This is the early game, remember. So who knows if weather's going to be a factor here. Obviously, if it was nighttime, different things could happen.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said earlier, we're going to switch gears now in this game from the high-octane passing games to the art of the run. Both of these teams can run the ball. The question is, who can run it better? Look, to me, if Philly plays like they did last week, they win. They reduced their reliance on quarterback Jalen Hurts. He did throw a couple of short TD passes in last Saturday's 38-7 destruction of the Giants, but he really didn't need to do much with his damaged shoulder, which, believe me, he's going to need a full offseason to heal. The Birds ran for 268 yards on 44 carries. The big difference this week, however, is now they're going to face the best stop unit in the NFL. The Niner defense allowed a league-low 3.4 yards per carry this season, so I just can't see them getting pummeled like the Giants. So the Eagles are going to need so much more from Hurts this week. And on the flip side, Brock Purdy, he hasn't faced a defense like Philly's. The Eagles defense held teams to a league-low 5.5 net yards per pass this season. But let me remind gamblers who think Purdy is a newbie, he's got 7 starts, and they're all wins, which is the best debut of any rookie quarterback since Big Ben back in 2004 with the Steelers. And the last 4 years, he was a starting quarterback, in the Big 12, which isn't the NFL, but it's not too shabby. The kid's got patience. He's got poise. He only tossed 2 picks since he started his first game in the NFL. And look, Purdy's critics are all going to say that he benefits from the system in San Francisco because it's a quarterback-friendly system. So what? So what? That's great. So who's got the momentum? Because to me, that's the team that's going to win. Show me the team with the momentum, and that's the team that's going to win. The 49ers are riding a 12-game win streak. They've almost forgotten how to lose. And while I'll admit this is the toughest challenge San Francisco has faced in that 12-game streak, don't forget, this is the toughest test Philly has faced all season long. The Niners are 7-0 against the spread in the NFC playoffs since 2019. There's your technical trend. I'm taking the 49ers here. I think they win outright. Take them on the money line. Take them plus the points. Just take them.
Man, what a story that would be. They lose their starting quarterback in Trey Lance early in the season. They bring in Jimmy G. He's not only serviceable, but he's good. All of a sudden, they're talking about him becoming the new starter. He goes down. And then Brock Purdy takes the San Francisco 49ers all the way to the Super Bowl. Not so fast, Steve Budin. Not so fast, Steve
Listen,
Budin.
Great quarterbacks are great right away. I know he's not great, but he's not bad.
Just like me when I'm on a heater at the blackjack table sitting at the Rio, all good things have to come to an end. And I just, not for the life of me, believe that this guy is going to get it done against the Eagles defense. You did highlight it, so I'll give you credit for that. This is going to be a very tough ride for Brock Purdy. Not to say that Jalen Hurts is going to have a picnic out there or the Eagles running game, but I think that when you have a rookie quarterback, eventually time does catch up to you. And it's a very nice story, and I wish this kid well. I think he's going to be great. He's going to be a multimillionaire because he's been able to toss the rock really well for the Niners instead of the 2 quarterbacks I just mentioned. But I was not a believer of this Eagles team until I watched them against the Giants. They took Brian Daboll's very good, creative, different, out-of-the-box offense, stuffed it back in the box, masking tape over it, and sent it back where it came from. This team dismantled the New York Giants. And I'm not going to say they're going to dismantle the San Francisco 49ers, but they will win this game. I believe they win this game late, likely by double digits. I see this comfortable, maybe midway through the fourth quarter, they get to 10. Niners try to get back, but they just don't have the get back in their game. So contrary to my own advice earlier in the program, I'm going to go against you. I'll take the Eagles minus the 3. I will take the Eagles on the money line because I just don't have that much faith still. Even though he's proven me wrong, Brock Purdy is fantastic, but it's David and Goliath when it comes to that defense.
And by the way, you give me a healthy Hurts, and I'm with you 100%. And he may be a lot healthier than we know, because we don't really know what's going on, right? And God knows they're not going to tell you, not at this point of the season. But I mean, with a healthy Hurts who can sacrifice his body and do the things he did all season long, there's no way I bet against him. And there's no way he's not the Goliath to the David when he's not. When he's not hurt. Just not knowing how hurt he is and just knowing the way they played last week, it just worries me. So, I can certainly see your side.
When you break down these lineups, when you talk about the players on this field, when you make a top 10, you haven't even got to Deebo Samuel's name by the time you get to 11. That's how good these two teams are. That's pretty rare air we're talking about.
And we said it 2 weeks ago. You get to this part of the season, and you can really make a good argument for every team, and it makes it hard to bet. It happened last week. It's going to happen again this week. So we'll see who's right this week.
We absolutely will. Steve Budin, always a pleasure, sir. We'll come back, of course, a little later on in the week and give you our AFC conference predictions. This has been Pocket Protection in association with TDR, brought to you by Bet99 Sportsbook. Every game starts at Bet99.com. We are responsible gambling.